Behind the scenes of iCarly Season 2. 8 years ago to this day, Carly Shay boarded an airplane and was making her way off to Italy. The gang was moving on to bigger and better things, with Nickelodeon deciding that 97 was a fair number of episodes for one of their most popular series ever. Luckily, Paramount Plus thought the show was befitting of a few more episodes. What becomes of the gang? Where are they now? We got to unravel all that in Season 1 of the iCarly revival series. Are you excited for Season 2? We sure are. The series was renewed for a second season in July of 2021 and released in April of 2022. Today, we're talking about everything that went on behind the scenes in filming iCarly's revival series' second season. What can we expect from Season 2? Where do the characters go from here? Are there new characters upcoming? Here are the behind-the-scenes secrets you should know. iCarly Revival Series Season 1. It seems like it was only yesterday when Carly Shay, along with friends Sam Puckett and Freddie Benson, launched her insanely successful web show, iCarly. While it might seem like it's only been a day, two at max, that we watched the Nickelodeon series, it's actually been over a decade. That's right, iCarly ran for a total of 6 seasons from 2007 till 2012 on Nickelodeon. Season 6 was a premeditated attempt at giving fans closure.
Thousands of people saw that live and they're coming here like to actually protest.
A life ahead for the gang as they move on to bigger and better things. Luckily, Paramount Plus decided we needed to know for sure what those things entitled. Hence, the show was picked up in December of 2020 for a revival. And we're thankful. A few familiar faces, Miranda Cosgrove, Nathan Kress, and Jerry Traynor, plus a few new ones, Lacey Mosley and Jaden Triplett, are kicking things off 8 years later. The first season was well received by critics, becoming the top most watched show on Paramount Plus. How exactly do you beat being at the literal top? Well, the cast weighed in on a series of behind-the-scenes interviews, and we're here to give you a rundown of all of it. Lit Fam. In the words of Jerry Traynor, also going by Spencer Shay, the second season of iCarly is going to be lit, fam. The cast and crew for iCarly Season 1 weighed in on their opinions of Season 2, and they seem to have a lot to say. According to Miranda Cosgrove, the first season of the show was a means of getting back in the groove. It had been nearly a decade since iCarly's final episode aired on Nickelodeon, and Paramount Plus needed to form a foundation to revive a kids' show 10 years later in a way that it appealed to new and old audiences alike.
Really? Do you even know what Harry Joyner looks like?
Yeah, you know, he looks like a man.
The cast mentioned how Season 1 had an added responsibility of setting the scene for what comes next for the gang. You couldn't just leave OG fans of the show hanging without an explanation. For example, where did Sam go? Who's Freddie's daughter? And most importantly, what made Carly come back to filming iCarly? Now, with that being out of the way, Cosgrove commented on how Season 2 would be more about the cast and crew enjoying themselves in true iCarly fashion. Nathan Kress was keen to mention that the first scene gave every character, including Macy and Harper, an arc to build upon as everyone moved into Season 2. Miranda Cosgrove holding the fort. Was the revival series originally intended to be the way it was? No, absolutely not. When the idea of creating a revival series was brought to Cosgrove, it was presented as more of a child-centric show, instead of what it eventually ended up becoming. Cosgrove said that she held her stance, and made it clear that the only way she would come back as Carly Shay was if the revival focused on what made the show nostalgic, yet also tackling mature topics as well. This is where Traynor weighed in and said that for the Nickelodeon series, young fans would approach him and admire his character from the show.
Imagine what you can do now, and we'll help however we can.
Now, ever since the revival, generations of fans would come up to him with praise for both his character and the revival series in general. Cosgrove's concept for the revival was so well-liked that she ended up being signed on as the executive producer for the series. From planning scenes to executing the lead character in them, Cosgrove made sure she delivered a banger. Josh Peck makes an appearance. In an exclusive interview with Collider, Cosgrove was asked whether she was excited to have a familiar face back in her life. The face obviously being that of Josh Peck, Cosgrove's on-screen brother in Drake and Josh. She gushed over the fact that Season 2 would feature Peck, whom she referred to as a staple in her life. Peck plays the role of Carly's manager and would be making a guest appearance in several iCarly episodes. Along with Peck, Cosgrove revealed that several other characters will be making a comeback in Season 2. Some some we've seen before in iCarly, and some we've seen in Nickelodeon comedies growing up.
They're organized, they're indoors, and nobody teases you if you want to drink some rosé.
Miranda Cosgrove, working as the executive producer for the iCarly revival series, really proved to be a game changer. She's managed to revive nostalgic themes with a bit of maturity aptly tucked away in the storyline to make it as progressive and fresh as possible. Lacey Mosley faces backlash, proves everyone wrong. Was there anything in particular that fans were apprehensive of with the revival series? Yes, the casting. We all remember the Nickelodeon series being centered around a group of friends getting into wacky shenanigans and coming up with hilarious concepts for their web show. Fans were surprised and upset to learn that Jeanette McCurdy will not be reprising her role as Sam Puckett in the revival series. Rumor had it that McCurdy was approached by Cosgrove but declined, citing that she felt embarrassed looking back at her past acting career. Yikes. You can't leave Carly hanging without a strong, independent female best friend. Thus, the role of Harper was created and Lacey Mosley was cast to play Carly's roommate and best friend.
Maybe you just need some arm candy of your own. And I have the perfect guy.
Fans of the original series were apprehensive of this change, with many taking to social platforms to voice their concerns over Sam's replacement. Writer Francesca Ramsey provided a befitting response. Lacey's character Harper isn't replacing Sam. No one could replace Jeanette McCurdy on her incredible talent. But it's both racist as hell and completely unfair to decide that Lacey hasn't earned her role, especially since the show isn't even out yet. After season 1, it was made pretty clear. Harper isn't Sam. She's a force to be reckoned with all on her own. Where does the cast see their characters going in season 2? In a behind-the-scenes interview with the cast of the revival series, Cosgrove, Trainer, Cress, Mosley, and Triplet were asked where each of them saw their character going and growing in season 2. Cosgrove responded that she was excited to bring back Carly in the form of a 20-year-old and show the world a side of iCarly that focuses on how the characters grew up to become their own people, instead of just high school kids. Mosley stated that she couldn't wait to show fans more of Harper, perhaps to separate her character from being an extension of Sam and serving only the role of Carly's best friend. She claimed that Harper had a much more substantial role in season 2 and couldn't wait to show it to the world. As for Trainer and Triplet, the two are just happy they got to be back on a set as fun as the iCarly set. Triplet told fans that she couldn't wait to unravel all the wacky pranks the cast pulls on one another, and Trainer made a funny remark over how fans would adore Spencer's profound idiocy, which has only increased in season 2. What we're most excited to see, admittedly, is Cress elevating Freddy's character from being someone we pity to being someone we can look up to. Cress commented on how fans would hit him up and ask him if season 2 would be any more uplifting for Freddy, and Cress confirmed that his character is finally going to move out of the arc it had, and into one it is so rightfully deserved. Season 2 of iCarly is all set to be released by April 8th of 2022. Based on what we can gather from behind-the-scenes interviews with the cast and crew of Paramount's top most-watched show of all time, Season 2 is going to be bigger and better than Season 1. How did you like the first season of the revival series? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe for more content, and we'll see you back soon. Bye!